Hey everybody, Phil here again with another interview. This time it's a kind of the continuation of my interview with my accounting project teammates, Ruth and Natsumi. This time we're talking more about our feelings about why we got into an MBA. And Natsumi's story is so cute. And, what we're learning and what our feelings are. And it's amazing how every interview that I'm doing, everybody's gushing about Quantic. Honestly, this channel and these interviews are not sponsored by Quantic. We're just talking about our feelings. And if you want to take the Quantic MBA or EMBA, I think you're well suited to watch these interviews and really see the kind of people that you'll meet and the experience that you're going to have. But enough of my blathering, and on with the interview with my BFFs, Ruth and Natsumi. And I'll drop in afterwards. All right, well, the first question is, why, at this point in your career, are you doing an MBA?
Natsumi, go ahead.
All right. I always thought about it, right? Getting MBA, but I wasn't really, I wasn't really researching, right? I thought about it, but then it was just there. Like, I didn't take any actions, but like, I don't know what made me do it this summer, but this summer, when I was on summer vacation, I thought about, maybe I should just apply for this, EMBA with Quantic because it's really, technology based, right? We can take the classes anywhere in the world. So I was like, maybe I'll apply, and then got the interview and I got accepted. But really it goes back to when I was like 5 or 6 years old. Like in Japan, when you graduate from our kindergarten, there is a ceremony that you have to share what your dream, right? Since my dad owned a company, it was like my dream to be a CEO when I grow up. So I shared that as my dream when I was 6 or so, and then all the parents there just laughed at me because they wouldn't think, 6-year-old girl wanted to be a CEO. So, but yeah, here I am, trying to get more knowledge on the business and see what I can do, in could be a near future or it could be 10 years from now. But I think this, just having the business knowledge is something that would help me, whether I'm a CEO or just working at the company, right? So I think I made a good decision to take the EMBA.
Wow. 6 years old.
Yep.
Did you actually stand up at school and say, when I want to be a CEO?
I mean, everyone has to go on stage to share your dreams.
Right.
It's like a show and tell.
Yeah. After graduation ceremony, so that's what I did. And I still remember those people laughing at me, right? But I guess it's the motivation for me.
And what about you, Ruth? Why now?
Why now when I'm so busy? Yeah, with so many things. Yeah. Okay. I think it's always been at the back of my mind. So I've been wanting to study a master's. So I graduated from business school long time ago. And I've been working, but none of the master's kind of format seem to work for me because I don't really like to travel to a school. I know that's the the usual kind of thing. I wanted to look for something online, but most of the online ones, they don't really look very accredited. So I don't know. So for me, when I was doing the research, they didn't have something like a trial for me to click into. There's no learning portal. They basically, it felt very dubious. Yeah. So I let go my idea so many times. until I think mid of this year. Yeah, sometime mid of this year. So I actually chanced upon someone in LinkedIn that graduated from Quantic, and then after that, I went to search for this. I just typed in Quantic, and then I did some reading, and I was thinking, oh, the price is okay, and what is this trial of this portal? So I went in, and then after that, I got like a taste of what the learning the LMS is, and I was, oh well, I loved it, and I thought, oh, there's no need to travel, and basically this thing looks legit. It doesn't look like it's some crappy. So at the end of the day, because it seems like there are a couple of people in my network that had the Quantic EMBA already. So I thought, okay, let's apply. And then I typed in my name and submitted, and got an interview and got the acceptance. And I was like, all right. Since they say 5 hours per week, I said, this is doable. Yep. But guess what? The number of hours I put in every single week is definitely
more than 5.
But to me, I think the greatest draw is that I don't need to travel. It looks accredited. I mean, it is. But at the same time, the LMS is the one that
I was burned out, am burned out with my business, and I just didn't want to work anymore on my business. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I can come up with another business idea. And then I thought maybe I can get a job. And then I thought, I wouldn't hire me, I just don't think I'm hireable. And I thought, I've done all this, I've 25 years, I've been restarting businesses, and so I have some experience, but I have what I felt legitimacy, or I didn't have any, provenance, like certification or whatever. So I thought, maybe an MBA would do that for me, would give me some kind of credibility, and also maybe would break me out of, the insecurity and the imposter and all the rest of that stuff. And and then and that was what happened. Was I'd been thinking about that on and off, and then somebody from Quantic reached out to me out of the blue, and said, would you like to do this? And I'm like, okay. And then I looked into it, and I did the same kind of thing. I looked and saw they were legitimate, and then I loved the software. I think the software is great, and I thought, oh, I can do this, and I have the time, and it wasn't hugely expensive, and I thought, maybe this is the thing I need. And for me, it was the most important part of it is the networking part of it, and I'm learning a lot about myself this year. In general, I'm learning a lot about myself, but I think the MBA is really, really helping. And I think what it covers, it'll give me the knowledge, and you end up with an MBA, so you end up with some kind of legitimacy and certification and all that, and the knowledge. So it seemed, like it just fell into place at the right time. Definitely spending a lot more than 5 hours a week on it, though.
Yeah. Somebody's got to revise that documentation.
Yeah.
Are there any parts of the MBA that you're looking forward to doing, or this is an area that I'm curious to know more about that you don't know about now?
I have to look at the agenda, of course, these they offer. But I think one thing that I'm really looking forward to is the what was I think it's a leading organization or something like that, right? Just because, like I said earlier, little me, 5-year-old me wanted to be a CEO someday. So I think having that knowledge is important. And then also, since I'm working for multinational companies, it's important to really understand how to set the goals for everyone from different background, different cultures and countries, right? And having that skills of, influencing people, leading people. I think it's really important and then key skills going forward. So I'm looking forward to taking that course.
I think the cultural intelligence one was also very intriguing for me because while I have been in various organizations, I think I didn't know that there was a framework for this. Like, and basically you could put two people on a framework and it's almost like a what do you call that? Those kind of sliding bars kind of thing. And you could measure cultural intelligence. So for me, I think I've encountered organizational behavior before. So topics on organization behavior were very, very similar to cultural intelligence. It's just that I think cultural intelligence is a bit more macro, but OB was a little bit more micro in that sense. But nevertheless, I think both topics should be very, very interesting. If you're looking at cultural intelligence as something, a topic that you want to delve into. Yeah. And then there's, I'm just looking at the portal right now. There's like corporate governance, there's ethics, social responsibility. I think they all fall under the same like realm of OB. So, but for me, I think I would like to know a bit more about I mean I've studied a bit of the data science part of stuff, but I want to know how they are doing the modules on the LMS. So for me it's more like encountering that, walking through the courses and then looking at the prompts. I think I get a kick out of it, but it's more like going through the especially those number kind of topics. So accounting is one of them. Financial finance is one of them, and I felt that they've done really well in trying to explain difficult topics. So for me, I was looking forward to the more like mathematical kind of topics.
All right.
Whereas for the English ones, English based ones, more content based in terms of English. I would think that it's doable via YouTube, for example. There are different formats and we could consume it, but it's just the numbers one. I think they did a good job. Whoever that's doing this curriculum thing.
Yeah.
And I think
No, go ahead.
so I think the good thing about the Quantic courses is like you get the instant feedback, right? If you select the long answer, it will give you the idea, and it's just instant. So it's good for you to learn on what you did wrong, right? So you don't have to wait until the end of the course to see if I'm wrong or not. So that instant feedback is something that helps, and it's the micro running modules that helps a lot too, right? Because you don't have 5 hours a day to spend on one course, right? So being able to take those courses on, maybe like, 30 minutes per day or whatever, that really helps too.
Yeah. So I think we mentioned it already, but Ruth, I don't know if you answered, but do you know anybody else with an MBA?
Did I know anybody else with an MBA? Not a Quantic MBA, right? Just basically.
No, just any MBA.
Yeah, I do know. Yes, a couple of them.
And did that have any influence on you taking MBA?
Zero influence.
That's me. Do you know anyone with an MBA?
Yes, I do. I think there's quite a lot of people that has MBA that I work with or in my company. So, like my manager, but that didn't really influence me. I know most of them went to the traditional, MBA schools, but that wasn't something that I was looking for. So I think I don't. To be honest, I don't think I have anyone went to Quantic around me. So when I got the invitation from Quantic on LinkedIn, I was kind of a skeptical, right? I thought about maybe is this a scam or what is this school I've never heard of, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my first experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't really like. I know some people in Amazon because I worked so much with people inside of Amazon. Seems like everybody, you can't, throw a rock and not hit somebody in Amazon who doesn't have an MBA. I think everybody in Amazon does. And even quite what I would consider junior people, hopefully they're not watching, maybe they'd be offended, but junior people in Amazon have MBAs. And so that was and that's interesting that I met so many. But I don't know that influenced my decision at all to take an MBA. Because I thought, if you're kind of like a junior marketing person at Amazon and you have an MBA, then is an MBA really doing anything for you? But I don't know. I don't know why so many people at Amazon have those. But interesting.
I think it's a normal education trajectory. Yeah. Perhaps it's not like maybe 10, 20 years ago, but I think right now is really common. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do after my uni. Let's go for the master's.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, only then do they step out into the working world. Whereas I think at least for me, I didn't have a master's. I just graduated from uni and went straight to work. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess that's also true that they're doing MBAs and we're doing EMBAs, which is slightly different. You're at a different point in your career.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. I didn't think about that actually. So there is a difference. So I guess the question then to end it is, after your MBA, other than putting it on your LinkedIn profile, which I've heard is the number one thing to do with your MBA, after putting it on your LinkedIn profile, do you think what's your step going to be? I know we're super early. I mean, we're only like a month and a half in, so it's hard to say really, but you think it's going to do something for you directly?
I think maybe. And the reason is I'm about to study more about the different sections of businesses, right? Marketing, financing, communications, or strategy, and things like that, right? I would say I might see a change in my career once I graduate, because there are some areas that I'm interested in, but don't really have the knowledge or experience or expertise in. So, once I go through that process, maybe I might see myself changing the role.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Ruth, we know you love your job, so.
And everyone there is like an MBA, the master's holder in something. So I don't think it would directly impact me, but I would think that perhaps down the road, if I want to, have my own company and all, I think the skill set here, whatever I'm learning on the EMBA, would really help me. Because I would, perhaps before taking the EMBA, I'll be thinking, okay, it's a little bit more gut feel. Like, for example, you do the basic calculations. You want to run a company, and then after that, you would just say, okay, just go for it. But with perhaps the skill sets of the EMBA, you do have the you might have the ability, a better ability to really map out strategically, what should you actually consider, and perhaps it will help you to have less of a blind spot in terms of running your own company. Yeah. So whatever, I don't know, because I think while the accounting module, we could actually throw it to the SaaS products, right? I think what this EMBA does with all these little projects, right, is really to just make us go through the rigorous part of the basics of business. Yeah. So which means to say that you need to know that, running a company is difficult. You need to know the nitty-gritty stuffs, and you can't run away from that. So while there are fancy stuffs like machine learning and data science in our modules, but I think it's cool that perhaps when I'm going to start my own company in future, I will put more thought into, say, maybe accounting. I need to balance the books first before I move on to anything else. Something
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think similar. It's I think there's a lot that I didn't even know I didn't know. Like there's a whole bunch of, this is shining a light into a whole bunch of areas that I never even really thought about before.
Right.
And so, I'm toying a little bit with stopping doing my own companies and joining another company, so going back to being an employee. But I think either way, either keep on doing my own thing or being an employee, I will know more about what a business does because of this. I don't think, I will say, I know after 25 years that you do not learn all of these things just by rolling around as an entrepreneur. You don't stumble across all these things. And we're only like a month in or 6 weeks in or whatever. But I know that there's things I'm going to learn that I haven't learned just by doing. Because I don't think you don't trip across it, in real world. And so I think when I started this, I thought I'm going to go and join a company because I'm tired of doing my own. It's too much stress and everything. But now a little part of me is thinking I can better run my own company now. Also because, of my age, no one's going to hire me anyway. So I gotta make my own. But yes, I do think that it's given me a little bit of confidence to run my own company, but the whole experience has also made me learn about myself and what I can do. So it's been a pretty powerful thing for me already, I think. Now maybe a year from now, I may feel crappy about it. I don't know, but I think it's pretty cool, and I think we're kind of saying the same thing. You just learn so much about so many different areas. Yeah. So there you go. That's the second part of my interview with my accounting project teammates, Natsumi and Ruth. If you look, there's a link somewhere that you can see our chatting about the actual accounting project. And if you're taking the EMBA, you might want to watch that to see how I recommend that you get the best out of the accounting module. I hope you're enjoying these interviews. Click the like button, the subscribe, the bell notification. Stick around for more Quantic interviews, and I'm going to be interviewing people who are not just in my cohort, but in other cohorts who are graduates. But also watch this channel for other interviews, other business content, and if you're a software developer, there's going to be some software development content. Basically, I'm kicking out the jams here on this channel, and hopefully you're enjoying the content. See you soon.